Hey guys, it's TrashKat and welcome back to the Reading Room, the place where we discuss books, manga, comics, movies, anime, games, and whatever else I feel like talking about. Today we'll be talking about The Promised Neverland, both the anime and the manga together. If you've been keeping up with the series, it's pretty clear that neither the anime nor the manga are finished. So in this video, I'll be comparing the first 3 books of the manga to their corresponding episodes in the anime. I plan to continue on with a series of videos until the anime and the manga divert from one another. And then I plan on doing one final video talking about how the stories separated. But that shouldn't be for a long ways off, so let's not even worry about it. If you hadn't figured it out by now, there will be spoilers for both the anime and the manga from here on out. So let's start with the characters. So we're looking at a pretty identical setup here with that solid fantasy hero trio. We have Emma, aka Femme Peter Pan, who I totally thought was a boy the first time I queued up the series, Norman, aka Casper the Friendly Ghost, and Ray, aka Baby Sasuke. And don't even argue with me on that one because you know I'm right. There's something really special about how this series follows its main characters. For one thing, I loved that the central lead is a girl. And not only that, she's a female character who isn't just saddled with that caregiver role. There's nothing wrong with caregiver characters, but oftentimes females are defaulted to this role. Usually in video games, when you have that female character in your party, she's always the healer. She's always the backup party member. While Emma is a caregiver through and through, she's also the most athletic. And both of the boys admit to this. The other characters think so as well. Emma's the fastest, Emma's the strongest. While both boys may be smarter and more analytical, Emma thinks with her heart and then she runs with that. This made it so easy for me to fall in love with her almost immediately. And plus, just look at her cute little face. Norman comes off as sweet and kind-hearted, and he's head over heels with Emma, which, who can blame him? This is another great example of characterization. Even though Norman is a boy, they make it obvious that he loves and cares for every single person at that orphanage. And that's one of his bigger driving forces. He's caring and gentle with everyone. There's no, oh, I'm a boy, I'm supposed to be tough. These boys are tough, but it's not defined by their masculinity, and that is just excellent. Norman and Ray both are obviously fine masterminds, but in my opinion, Norman kind of ekes ahead in front of him in these first 3 volumes. Norman is always 10 steps ahead of his opponent, even when his opponent is someone as smart as Mom. And then we have Ray, beautiful, grumpy, angsty Ray. It's so funny because he reminds me so much of like early series Sasuke, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody by saying that, but you guys know it's true, okay? Come on. I think Ray is obviously a very intelligent character, but I think despite what he tells everybody else, he really has a problem controlling his emotions, and that affects the outcome of his plans. It's easy to have a sweet spot for all 3 members of this trio. However, where The Promised Neverland really shines is with its villains. Both Mom and Sister Crone are forces to be reckoned with. And this brings me into the story. The Promised Neverland is a unique series because there isn't really much outright violence at all, aside from that one scene. And if you guys have seen any of this mangas or anime, you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. And that's impressive. It really drives home the point that the oldest kids in this story are 11 years old. Yes, they may be certified geniuses, but they're children. They have limited resources, basically 0 outside knowledge, and they're all by themselves. Situational horror can be so special, and I absolutely love that this series takes advantage of that concept. The manga and anime both serve to shine a light on how emotional manipulation can really take a toll on your psyche. In the first 3 volumes of the manga, Mom doesn't show any violence until the final few pages. She intimidates everyone with just her presence alone. And this is such an important concept to witness on page and screen both. People don't always have to be physically dominating in order to be terrifying and oppressive. But comparing the anime and the manga together, the stories are pretty similar. There are a lot of scenes that are kind of flip-flopped around in order to make storytelling a little bit easier for screen time, but almost everything that shows up in the manga appears to be in the anime as well. Say hello! Hello. I have to sneeze now. Okay, so moving on to the structure. The manga is pretty solid. The art style is nice and clean and pleasant to look at. The panels aren't too crowded, but there is something a little off-putting about how much over-explanation there is. This is something you see a lot of times in both anime and manga. Constant over-explanation and restating of general plot points and strategies. The Promised Neverland manga is definitely guilty of this. The anime kind of condenses a lot of these over-explanation scenes into one and uses different angles and scenery to make them a little more interesting, instead of you just reading paragraph after paragraph explaining what you read maybe 30 pages ago. I do think the manga made me love Emma a little bit more. There's absolutely nothing wrong with her in the anime, but the manga lifts her up just a little bit higher. Her facial expressions are tougher, and you see her angry a lot more than you do in the anime. She almost feels like this generic happy-go-lucky character who always believes everything's gonna turn out well. While that's an important characteristic of Emma's, in the manga it's balanced out a little bit more with her logic and drive to make sure everything turns out well. I think the anime is absolutely beautiful. Plus they have this super kick-ass opening theme song, which theme songs are definitely one of my weaknesses. I don't know how much anime you guys watch, but this intro is done by Overworld, who already does a bunch of really popular anime openings, such as Bleach, Blood Plus, My Hero Academia, and one of my personal favorites, Blue Exorcist. So this is one of those openings I find very hard to skip. Intros are really important when it comes to setting the tone of an anime. And let me just say, the intro for this anime is fire. Yeah, I know. Okay, I give you permission to slap me. But I also give you permission to slap that like button for more cringeworthy puns in every upcoming video. The anime really shines because of how it uses music and thematic sounds to like bring in that creepy tone, much more so than the manga. The manga is excellent in its own way, but the anime really like elevates that story experience. The scene where Norman and Emma are hiding under the car, if you've seen the anime, you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. This scene was so intense in the anime. Like, I had goosebumps. It was so good. And in the manga, it's still good, but it just doesn't have that same feel, in my opinion. However, there's always gotta be a but. And the main drawback of the anime, for me, was the dubbing. I usually prefer dubs. Now, I know, don't sue me, okay? But this one just wasn't for me. If you really wanna watch the anime, definitely check out the sub, because I think it's a lot better. So what's the final decision? Manga or anime? Let's get into the ratings. For the first 3 volumes of the manga, we have 5 out of 5 screams. And for the corresponding episodes of the anime, we have 8 out of 10 screams. Now I know what you're thinking. Obviously, based on these ratings, the manga wins out, right? Well, listen, I have and never will make sense. Because I'm going to say, based on my experience with both portrayals of the story, I like the anime a little bit better. And I'm sticking with my decision because I make the rules here. So there you have it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and make sure to check me out on other social media sites. I have a blog, it's a mess. I have an Instagram, it's also a mess. I have a TikTok, which is the worst mess out of all of these because I'm a millennial and I don't know what I'm doing. See the links below in the description. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. This is TrashKat signing off.